This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast for Tuesday, November 22nd. Kicked off the show this morning talking about that momentous day. It's really, of course, over time, as everything else does. It used to be that remembrance of the assassination of President Kennedy and where were you when you heard became the new, or the old 9/11, where were you when you sort of heard that?
Yep.
He's talking about that Oliver Stone re-look that, I think it's called Through the Looking Glass.
Which I'm going to have to go home and watch now today.
I think it was on Crave that I watched it.
Oh, all right.
And
that's not going to work.
You know, I'm okay watching all that stuff because I really like the movie JFK.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I know that when you watch an Oliver Stone documentary, not just a movie, like a movie, you know, you're going to get his slant. If you watch an Oliver Stone documentary, he's going to flat out tell you what he thinks. Like, it's right there. And it could be a rabbit hole. It could be a conspiracy theory. It'll be well presented and well researched, but it'll be what he wants to say. Not criticize him, but you have to know that going in. And if you don't agree with the premise, you're not going to like it. But it was really interesting. Now, they talked about how, and they offered up proof because they had Secret Service agents and FBI agents who were silenced at the time, that there was an assassination plot that they uncovered in Chicago in early November that was foiled. Another one in Tampa, November 18th, which was only 4 days prior to Dallas, which was foiled.
Okay,
they
foiled
said
that
it
one
was,
too.
Yeah, and they said that it was eerily similar to the way it actually played out in Dallas. And that's why they said they think there was a conspiracy that it could have happened in any of the other stops.
Like maybe a run-through of sorts.
Right, except they, and I think the Chicago one, a maid or a worker in a hotel called the police to say, I think I've seen 4 guys with rifles just rent like the 8th story place on the corner by where the president's going to be tomorrow. So they rushed over, caught 2 of them. According to this documentary, 2 got away, caught 2 of them, but they wouldn't say anything. They had high-powered rifles. And contact with a guy who the FBI knew didn't like Kennedy, and he was going to be the Lee Harvey Oswald patsy.
Oh.
So then they followed up, found out about the one in Tampa, and then, of course, it happened in Dallas. So that's the way he offers it, that all of this is there. And the one Secret
So now I don't have to
Service
watch it.
Well, there's some other stuff that's kind of interesting. You're right. It took a while to wade through all of the paperwork and everything.
But that's how JFK was too. When the movie came out, it's a long film.
Oh, it's a slog.
But as you just said, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
There's something just so fascinating about the entire Kennedy family, number one, but especially JFK and the questions around it, whether there's any truth to them or not. And that's always been the question. Was it really a conspiracy? Was it really this... all these pieces going on in the background, was it really happening? Was Lee Harvey Oswald really the patsy? Was Jack Ruby really involved? Was like all these little, like these pieces. And you're right, Oliver Stone did a really good job of making you believe that, there was a lot more going on there. And you introduced me to Stephen King's 11/22/63, so November 22nd, 1963, which deals with the assassination as well. And it is such a good book. Oh my gosh.
Fictional retelling, but so much of it historically accurate.
But it's so interesting. It does ask the question, what if? What if this happened? What if that changed? What if Kennedy wasn't assassinated?
What if, because somebody's got a time machine, basically, is the whole premise of the book, and went back, could you prevent it? And he tries to prevent the assassination. Won't tell you if he does or doesn't. But the interesting thing, too, that I love that Stephen King does, he does stuff like that, is, and of course you've read the book, is time doesn't want to be changed. No. Time consents if you go back in time and will foil your efforts, will interfere. It is not as simple as you think. So the story is so interesting.
It falls into that. No, there is a purpose for every action.
Right.
For every action, there's a reaction. And there's a reason why this is happening because this is, it boggles my mind. But it's so cool. And JFK itself, still to this day, such a fascinating topic and very interesting to get into.
And Oliver Stone talks about it. He thinks that it was flat out a conspiracy between the CIA, the FBI, and other powers that had to do with foreign policy and the way of the world, and they didn't like
All
what
these
Kennedy was doing.
backdoor
and he's gotta
dealings
go.
going on.
He's
and
got to go.
You mentioned 9/11. Much like 9/11, JFK is another thing that if I see, like, this is why I said I'm going to go home and watch it. Because if I see it, see it on TV, if I see it on social media, if I see it somewhere, some news headline, I have to stop and watch it. Same with 9/11.
Yeah.
Every year, there's stuff on for 9/11. And I find myself every year, even though I've seen the footage, even though I've seen the stories, even though I've heard all these little details, there's just something that pulls you in and you watch it again and you get sucked into it again, wanting to know more.
One of the parts you'll enjoy, Robert F. Kennedy, his brother, who was assassinated in 1968, pictures and diary entries of what he was doing that day. This day, November 22nd, 1963, him with his hand on his head on the phone, and his son, who's a grown man now into his 60s, talking about the initial thing of what he did on that day and what he was thinking, who he thought did it.
Well, yeah, because it wasn't much longer after that he was killed.
So super interesting. But again, if you're not into what I'm sure a lot of people think conspiracy theories or whatever.
It's not even conspiracy theories, but the history. Yeah. Like I said, the Kennedy family themselves, just a very interesting family.
Yeah.
What they've gone through and their whole story is just fascinating.
A lot of money, but a lot of tragedy.
Yes.
So that's pretty darn interesting. So that's
Thank
how
you
the show
for bringing that up this morning. Yes.
I'm a history freak.
Yep, absolutely.
And then we want to do everything possible to make you enjoy the holiday season. I think you got that figured out about us. And so that's why when we landed on this story about a 10-question questionnaire, which will help you purchase the perfect gift for somebody who is difficult, and it comes from a psychologist who come with the answer to banish bad gifting. We have to ask our loved ones a series of apparently innocuous but very insightful questions to find out what they really want for Christmas.
It's not a typical, what would you like for Christmas?
So here are the 10 questions.
Deeper than that.
To me, I've isolated what I think are the 5 most important, and maybe the psychologists would say, nay, you've totally got it backwards.
Okay.
Because maybe there is an order to this. But here are the 5 I think, if you were to put these down, just ask your loved one, answer these questions honestly, and then take these insights and go buy a gift. So number 1, imagine you have 24 hours to do anything you want. Sky's the limit. What would you do? Sky's the limit.
That's a tough one.
24 hours.
I'd have to think on that.
I would fly to San Francisco, rent a car, drive to Los Angeles along the Pacific Coast Highway, drive back.
See, I guess
you could do that in 24 hours.
I guess I'm not there. I need to think bigger.
Right, but I have 24 hours, so it's not, I would watch. Yeah, I can do a lot of that. But it's like, no, I could get out to California, 5 hours each way, drive, 8 hours. That's 18 hours. Can I stay awake 18 hours? I can sleep on the plane. That's what a day that would be.
Oh, it'd be an
so that would be mine. This Christmas, you decide to donate everything you own except 3 items. What do you keep? Wow. What do you keep? Everything you own. Not people, okay, so you can't say.
I get to keep my people.
So I got to keep my phone, right? I got to keep my phone because I don't want to give my phone away. Now it's like, okay, I got a guitar and a golf clubs, but I think there's other stuff.
I would keep my phone, but only for the photos that are on it.
Yeah, well, only 2 other things. So yeah, okay. So
there's a teddy bear from my childhood I would keep.
Got to keep that.
And
losing everything else. One more thing.
One more thing. That's a tough one.
What's the one thing you could watch or read about forever and never get bored of? That's a really great thing to look at because there are books or movies or things like that. Read or watch about. So it's not just that movie.
Well, we were just talking about
JFK,
like something like that.
Wow, that would be fascinating for people. What's something people assume you like but secretly don't?
Chocolate.
You don't like chocolate?
Chocolate's okay.
I feel awful.
I like O. Henry bars.
Right. Yeah. I assume you love chocolate.
I don't love chocolate. No.
Why do
I've never had a sweet tooth. I was pregnant with Ben. Nathan. That's when I started to eat chocolate.
That was it?
Yep.
Wow.
And even now, like I said this morning, I was peckish. I grabbed a chocolate bar because that's all I had.
But wouldn't have been your first choice.
Nope.
Does Wayne know that?
Yeah, I think he does.
You don't like chocolate?
Yeah.
So he wouldn't say,
He's the one with the sweet tooth. He knows that. I don't have the sweet tooth he has.
And finally, what is it that you are looking most forward to in 2023? And then knowing that, you might be able to make that happen. If it's a trip, you might be able to, right?
Yeah.
So there
If you
to
have
me
something
are the
coming up.
5 most important questions of the 10 that I think. But I'm being a little bit, because I think those are the questions I would want Kath to answer, if I were to ask her those.
Yes.
But here are the other ones. Finish this sentence. I'm the world's unknown expert in, I don't know. What am I an unknown expert in?
You're an expert in everything, Mark.
I'm not. But
I don't
thank you
know.
for saying that. What's the one thing you own that you still haven't used, and why? So you don't want to duplicate anything.
Yeah.
And you don't want to give anything
Exactly.
along the same line.
Exactly.
Like if it's a
If they're
power
not
tool,
using it,
don't get another power tool.
Don't get more power tools.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's a crock pot, stay out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Not including me, of which I would not include me. Who's the best gift giver you know? My daughter Stephanie's, hands down. Nobody
You do
can
put a
touch
lot
her.
of thought into your gifts. There's no question.
No, I don't.
Yes,
do I?
you do.
No,
Yes.
I'm just insightful.
There is some, I would say there is thought from you put into your gift. I know that every gift you have given me, you have thought about. It's not just, I'll just grab this and give it to her. There is thought there. And that to me is a good gift giver. There's effort put into it.
I just buy it, but I sell it really well.
Whatever. It makes me feel like
Okay.
you put thought into it.
Right.
And that makes a good gift giver. So anyone who
here's-
puts a thought into it, I would say
The next one.
is nice.
When was the last time someone did something thoughtful for you? And then by that, they would admit what it was that they found thoughtful. So they've let you know about that. And then what's the best gift you've ever given somebody? And it can include the person asking the question. So if I leave the list out, Kath can't say it was to me. What's the best gift you've ever given somebody else? And that gives you an insight into what they think about other people and good gifts. So see, it seems innocuous, and it's like, well, how would I pick these answers? But if you read them over, you'd probably come up with a different gift for Christmas
It definitely
than you would
gives
have.
you some insight into what a person, not only their likes and dislikes, but also with the 3 things that they would keep and give everything away, what they themselves hold dear, what they perceive as important, or what they truly appreciate in that question, which I think is interesting. Because what you may think they like or hold dear may be something totally different.
And that's why.
Because it may be like you may see it as, they're going to love this diamond ring I'm going to give them. Well, no, it's as I said, it's the teddy bear that sits in the corner that they would take with them, not the diamond ring sitting on the
Well, that's what I was going to
dresser.
say. And that's why you can't get them a good gift. Or that's why it seems to fall flat.
Yeah.
Because you think you know.
Exactly.
Now you're going to ask them without asking them, what do you want? Which is the worst thing. Because they always say, I don't want anything.
Exactly.
When they really just want jewelry.
But me saying I don't necessarily care for chocolate stunned you
Yeah.
because you thought I did.
Yeah.
And I don't not like chocolate. It's just not my favorite thing.
But I've always included that in whatever I gave you
And
for
I love
Christmas.
it and I appreciate it.
Not doing it now.
It would not be my first, but the question you asked me, like people just assume because everybody loves chocolate, right?
That's right.
But it's a level. How much do you love it? Because I do that with the kids. I will buy them treats for their stocking, and quite often, more often than not, a lot of it gets eaten by their dad or gets thrown out. And yet I still buy it.
Yeah.
I still think they
We
want
do.
it.
That's a really interesting, like, what is it that you don't like that everybody assumes you do? That's really interesting. I got to
What
think
is it
about
for
that
you?
for me. I got to think about that for me because
What do people assume you like that you don't?
that I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't know. My life's an open book. I
Well,
think.
I think
Have
you
I ever
like
surprised
chocolate.
you with stuff like that? That
Oh,
you were
certainly.
like, oh my gosh.
Because I
didn't-
think I brought you a donut one day. You're like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, okay. I don't like cream donuts.
Yeah.
But, okay, that's just a food thing. I'm talking about a personality thing that
Personality that I think you
everybody
like and you don't.
assumes. Turns out you don't.
Personality trait or something you like.
That would lead to a gift. A personality trait. Like everybody assumes, I don't know. Anyway,
There's
it's a
there's
large
always
question.
something.
Yeah, large question.
There's always something you do. You and we all do it. We assume we know. We assume we have these great ideas. Sometimes we're right. But yeah, if you're having a hard time with people,
The best gifts come when you ask that sort of stuff and you
Yeah.
really, nobody saw that coming, but
Exactly.
it really means something. Yeah.
And taking the time to do this too, I think shows that person that, okay, yeah, you know what? They are listening. They're trying. They're looking for something that I really would appreciate.
And write those down on November 22nd. Put it out tomorrow on November 23rd because Black Friday's coming.
That's true.
Get them to fill it out on Thursday and then take care of that and send it around.
Find something on the weekend.
Ask the rest of your family or other friends that you're going to be buying them for. And then let us know if it worked. Let us know if this was the year that was like, I never would have thought what I bought it, and boy, just hit it out of the ballpark. Good. That's what we want.
I think I might take that list home and ask Wayne.
All right,
because he's one I assume I know. And I'd be curious. He's not as forthcoming as I am, we'll say. Weird.
Strange.
I know.
Yeah. Yes, the man's a brick wall of emotion. I know.
And it's so funny because I ask him, what would you like for Christmas? I already have everything I want. Okay, that helps me zero so I can buy something that I think you want. Or you can tell me, and I'd be curious to see what he actually.
Here's the paper.
I would like to know, especially if he had 24 hours. I don't know what he would do if he had 24 hours to do anything in the.
Anything.
Maybe go to an NHL game.
Sky's the limit. Sure.
Maybe I don't know.
Where?
Probably
Let him
Toronto.
Surprise you. Maybe not.
I would automatically say Toronto, but maybe a NASCAR race. I don't know. It would be interesting to see what he'd say.
Or maybe he would want to take you somewhere for 24 hours. You don't know until you ask. Well, you don't know.
Probably
Let him shock you. And wouldn't you like to know what 3 things he'd hang on to?
Yes, that is interesting. I'm thinking about that now even. What would you keep?
I don't know. I said
3 things. That's
I guess
it.
I got to keep my phone, keep a vehicle.
Those
keep
are
my
all
house.
practical. Really?
But you have to. If I give my home away, I can't give my home away.
Everything. So
I don't lose.
You want something for your home, your car, or your phone then?
Well, but I don't want to lose those things.
Those are the things that you would.
I couldn't replace them.
All of them can be replaced.
But I couldn't
all
replace
of them can be replaced.
No, not without extreme cost.
Oh my gosh. Cost wasn't an issue.
Like, I don't care about pictures.
Really?
I don't.
Oh.
I don't.
I've always said if we ever had a fire and firemen are going to get mad at me, I would be like arm full of my albums and pictures.
Are there any pets inside? No, but there are photo
but I got
albums.
the pictures.
Run.
They can get out themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife's like that too. I'm not nostalgic that way. Maybe that's what people don't know about me because I talk about history. I love history, but I'm not nostalgic. Does that make sense?
Kinda.
Yeah.
I get. Yeah, maybe.
I love history.
So what is it about history that you enjoy then?
I just think it's fascinating how we get to where we are today. And I don't mean that in some sort of a dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Any given situation, any given part of society that suddenly gets to a crux of something. Mm-hmm. How did we get here? And I'm fascinated by how history repeats itself and how students of history of how things. That's why JFK was like, oh yeah, it's tomorrow. I should watch that. And then I become fascinated by it. And some people couldn't give 2 poops about it. I know. That's okay.
No, I think
That's
it's very
my thing.
interesting too.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that you would keep your phone, your house, and your car.
I think that's what it is, because to replace them would be way
practical.
too expensive.
So that to me tells me that you like practicality.
Very much
and
so.
that's,
Yeah. Very much
so if I see a gadget or something that's very practical and useful.
Oh my gosh.
And it's so funny because now I'm thinking the things that you have given me over the last 3 years have all been that.
Yeah, they've been very practical gadgets.
Like the pedometer, the step counter, the phone holder.
Phone holder.
That you got me here for the studio to put up so I could prop my phone up.
Yeah, very practical. Very useful.
Practical.
Practical, useful things. Yeah.
What else? There was something else that I took home.
I'm not big on frivolous. I don't buy frivolous.
But that's what I mean. I always thought that you were putting a lot of, and you clearly have. You've put thought into it, thinking, okay, what can she use?
Yeah, what's practical for you?
And it's been very practical.
Yeah. All right, now that I've outed myself.
That's very interesting. Okay.
This is gonna be the worst Christmas
that now
presents.
helps me. Not that I didn't kind of know that already, but now that I've stopped and actually absorbed it and thought about it, now I got to get gadgets. Now I got to find something that's going to make you, that's more practical.
And socks, as always.
Of course.
And socks.
I can't
totally
not.
get
There's
it.
always socks.
What else going on today, everybody? Have a great day. I'm off to the dentist. I'm going to have just my every 6-month cleaning. Amy's going to hopefully tell me everything's fine. I'll get a new toothbrush. Maybe a little bit of floss.
It's going to be a good day.
It's a winning day.
It's a good day.
Winning day. And then we're back at it tomorrow morning. What are we talking about tomorrow? We got
are we
unveiling
talking
our
about tomorrow?
Throwback Thursday, which we're still not entirely convinced how we're going to do it ahead of Christmas
Oh, we
night.
better do that,
I know,
yes.
so we got to get that done tomorrow. So we'll have some fun with that.
Your chance to win passes to have breakfast with Santa.
Yeah, we're going to have the most Googled words of 2022. We've been spying
I
on
can't wait.
spying on everything that you look at, including simp. What's a simp, and why is that a bad thing if a man is referred to as a simp?
I hate that my children are using these words and I don't know what they are. Even my kids know.
Does he know? Do they use simp?
They have used simped.
Yep. Okay, simp. So we'll tell you about that, and Karen and woke and all of those words.
Is Boomer still on there?
No, it isn't.
Okay, good.
Thank heavens.
At least that one's
Yeah,
gone.
that one's out of there.
We all know what that is now.
Thanks. It's the Mark and Charity Coffee Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast here. I get it on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Subscribe so that it's in your inbox by 11 o'clock in the morning. Have a fabulous Tuesday, okay? We'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 95.5 Hits FM.